Yeah, friends. So I'm just talking about that. What are these? How these samvatsaras? As I've talked about, the samvatsaras are majorly these 20 samvatsaras. 60 samvatsaras are divided into three major parts. The first part is known as first 20 samvatsaras are known as Brahma samvatsaras. Brahma, or they are known as Brahma. Yeah, Brahma Bimsara, right? Or Brahma Bimsara. Then Vishnu Bimatsara and Bimatsara means, oh, okay, 20 plus that means 20 samvatsaras, or first Brahma samvatsaras, or second is Vishnu samvatsaras, third is Rudra samvatsaras. Okay, and because of the names of God is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Okay, Brahma is known as generator, right? Yeah, just like God, God. And second is observer, Vishnu. Third is destroyer, D. Destroyer means Rudra, Shiva. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Okay, so these are the three categories of these 60 samvatsaras. First 20 samvatsaras known as Brahma Bimatsara or Brahma Samvatsara, or second part is known as Vishnu Samvatsaras or Vishnu Bimatsaras, right? And the third is known as Rudra Samvatsaras or Rudra Bimatsaras. Okay, these are three major sections. So three sections they are divided. Mostly all the Vedas, and because this is a part of Veda, this is known as Vedanga, right? Organ of Ved. One of the Vedas is known as Vedic Astrology. So astrology is one of the parts of the Vedas, because afterwards the Vedas were divided into 6 parts majorly. Okay, this is the sixth anga or sixth organ of the Vedas. So this Vedas, almost, Puranas are also divided into 3 parts. First 6 Puranas are devoted to Brahma Purana. They say Brahma Purana, Brahma, they are devoted to Brahma. Then second part from 7th to 12th. Okay, those 6 Puranas, because there are total 18 Puranas. So 3 parts. The first 6 Puranas, Brahma Puranas. Second, devoted to Vishnu Puranas or Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, they are devoted 6 Puranas. Then third part from 13 to 18, the 6th last Puranas are devoted to Shiv or Shiva, Rudra Puranas. They are known as Shiv Puranas or Rudra Puranas, right? Or they are, almost all those 6 Puranas are talking about Brahma first, second Vishnu, about Vishnu, then third is about Rudra. Similarly, these 20 samvatsaras are divided into 3 major parts. Okay, they may say that a characteristic of these 3 gods, parts of the gods, are being described by the 3 major parts of these samvatsaras. 21st, they are having some characteristics of Brahma or generation type of things. Okay, second part is Vishnu, or that is means caretaking or observing something. Okay, or that kind of activities are being disturbed. Because of that, I think they are divided into these 3 major parts. Now let me talk about what are the samvatsaras that I have talked about. That because of the conjunction of the rays of Saturn and Jupiter, because Jupiter covers the whole zodiac in 12 years, while Saturn covers in 30 years. The whole zodiac is covered by Saturn in 30 years. And when we take the LCM of these two, 12 and 30, that means 60 is the LCM. So 12, that means, what does it mean? That every year the rays of the Saturn and Jupiter having some characteristics which are very distinct, different kind of characteristics are there of these rays which are falling upon, or which fall upon the natives born on the earth. So because of that, a person's tendency or inclinations, the persons who are born in that particular year will have a different kind of characteristics you will find. And this is how the research of the astrology is a very wide subject. People who are observing all these things, the persons who are born in a particular year, for example, and collect their horoscopes, cast their horoscopes, and then study about their major characteristics. What are the common characteristics found in those people born in a particular year? You will find that, you will be surprised at what kind of those characteristics are there, and they are mostly common because of the rays of these 2 planets. They are influencing that particular year. That one samvatsara in which the person is born will have certain kind of tendency which is not found in the next year born people, the 3rd year. But the next, samvatsara, which is a period of Samvatsara. After 60 years, again the same kind of situation will happen. Okay, and as they say that at the time of creation of the earth, starting or creation of the what you call creatures, you may say, the creation of the creatures at the time of initially, Jupiter and Saturn, they were in the 0 degree of Aries sign. After 60 years, again they will come to the 0 degree of the Aries sign, and in this way they are traveling for 60 years. After every 60 years, they are coming to the same kind of degrees or minutes or seconds, whatever. Same kind of characteristics they will have after every 60 years. Okay, so this is what we can say, that they are having conjunction of these two planets, the major planets, Saturn and Jupiter. First Jupiter, then Saturn. So they are from the Earth, they are known as outer planets. The outer planets are Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. But Jupiter and Saturn, they are major planets, and they are mostly influencing people born on the Earth in a distinct manner, in a particular manner. The tendencies or the inclinations of a person are well defined in that particular Samvatsara. Let me just find out that how these 60 Samvatsara, then how to calculate a Samvatsara. Suppose a person is born in a particular year, for example, Christian year I will take. After that I will convert that into Bikram Samvats of Bikram era or Bikram year. What is the Bikram year or Bikram Samvat? That we have to calculate. After that, in Bikram Samvat, we have to add 10. 9 plus 1, 10. So 10 is to be added in a Bikram Samvat year. Then divided by 60. So whatever the remainder comes, quotient, remainder divided by divisor. Divisor is here 60. Okay, and quotient, whatever quotient comes out to be, that is not considered, but the remainder, whatever remainder comes out, that remainder will give you the name of the Samvatsara. 1 to up to 60, because up to 59 there will be a, and 60. If it is 0 Samvatsara, if it is 0 remainder, zero remainder is there, then that means 60th Samvatsara has come. If it is 1, first Samvatsara, remainder is 2, second Samvatsara 3, third Samvatsara. In this way, what is Samvatsara, how to calculate? Let me just take one example. And as I just talked about, 1950, the year of the Prime Minister Modi's date of birth, or year of birth, year of birth, I'm talking about, not date of birth, year of birth. And you will find that which Samvatsara, I think calculated this in his prediction, when I predicted about his next year becoming Prime Minister. So in that prediction of mine, I think second, third or first, I'm not remembering that, in which I talked about his becoming Prime Minister. Okay, so maybe second one or third one. Okay, so that, sorry, second one I think. Yeah, it was second one. In the second prediction, you can see where I have calculated, I have talked about that what is Samvatsara Mr. Modi was born, and that is Shobhanakrata Samvatsara. Shobhakrata or Shubhakrata, Shobhakrata or Shobhana Samvatsara. This is 37th Samvatsara he is born in. And how that I calculated, I'm just going to describe that illustration. I'll just give you that how to calculate it. Then how to calculate the second one, I'm just going to talk about what are the Samvatsara that I've talked about, and how these Samvatsara are there. And I've talked about that every day Jupiter moves 5 minutes. What are the minutes? Degree, minutes, seconds. Okay, so longitude is calculated minutes, degree, minutes and seconds. So in that case, degree, minutes, degree, minutes, 60 minutes, 60 seconds, and that 60 minutes is equal to 1 degree. So 1 degree divided into 60 minutes. So out of the 60 minutes, 5 minutes every day Jupiter travels every day. This is average moving time of moving, not time, but moving degree. Moving is space, with moving angle you may say, because 360 degree is to be traveled by Jupiter in 12 years. Okay, so on the 12 signs Jupiter moves in 12 years. That is how the whole zodiac is traveled. That is what we have to just talk about. So 12 years Jupiter takes to travel the whole zodiac, to cross the whole zodiac, and 30 years taken by Saturn. Okay, so LCM of them, let me now define them one by one. So first is, what are the Samvatsara? So that I have just talked about, that there are 60 Samvatsara. Let me write here. There are 60 Samvatsaras. What are those 60 Samvatsaras? Why? Because LCM of, this is LCM, least common multiple of 12 and 30. What is least LCM of 12 and 30? This is 60. How? 12, 30, let me take. If I divide it by 6, let me divide. If I divide by 6, 6 2 is 6, 5, and 5 to 10, 10 6 is 60. Because now 2 and 5, which 2 and 5, so first divide by 2, then by 5, so 6 into 5 into 2, 6 into 5 into 2. If you find LCM of 12 and 30, it is 60. 6 2 is 10, 10 5 is 60. So 60 is the LCM. That means 60 Samvatsaras are there. There are 60 Samvatsaras. What does it mean? That means that after every 60 years, Jupiter and Saturn were at the time of creation of the earth, at the time of creation of whatever the, you may say, the first creation of the living things on the earth, the sun and so this Jupiter and Saturn were at the 0 degree of the Aries, 0 degree of Aries. And after every 60 years, they come to the same position at 0 degree in the Aries sign. Then they travel in the same way. They are fixed, I mean, their movement or their traveling is fixed. They are just, in that particular whole year, they are having a different kind of rays or conjunctions and whatever influence upon the natives. That is distinct, fixed. Nobody is going to change them. This is how Jupiter and Saturn are having, and that particular year, after every 60 years, that is repeated. This is a repetition again and again. The 60 years, they are being repeated. So same kind of people are being born. You can just find that what kind of the people were born in that particular year. They were fighters in that particular year. All the freedom fighters were born in that particular year. Okay, why? They were having the same kind of characteristics. Then the next year, or I mean in a particular year, whatever the movements are being done on the earth, the same kind of, similar kind of people are just coming up. This is how that kind of activities are being described by those people's characteristics. That can be just talked about, but I'm just talking about that if you find that you are born in a particular Samvatsara, and in that Samvatsara's characteristics, if you go through, I'll take some examples, and that will just tell you about that. Oh yes, that because living examples if I take, then you can find that you can compare that. Yeah, this person is having these kind of characteristics. That is 100% true, and that is being described in the Vedic Astrology in a clear manner, in a vivid manner, illustrative manner, clearly given. Okay, that this kind of person will be born in this particular Samvatsara, his tendency will be of this kind. He will be celebrated throughout. As I told you about the Indri Samvatsara, 56 Samvatsara, in which Hardev Sharma Trivedi was born, and this person was very celebrated, was given by a lot of what you call awards or things, honors were given to him by kings, by government. Okay, by king of Himachal Pradesh gave him a palace, house, land, vehicles, everything. All kinds of facilities were given to him, just to provide him facilities so that he can study. He can because he was a great astrologer, a good astrologer. He predicted a lot of things in his life. For 40 years of the king's life was fully described by this astrologer Hardev Sharma Trivedi. Because of that, he was very much rewarded by that king. So, and his Hindvi Samvatsara says the person born in this Samvatsara will be honored by king. He will get all kinds of facilities from a king. How this is being described, and this is not a copy from my side. I mean, the person was born in 1909. 1909, I'll just talk about that, how the Samvatsara is calculated. Now let me talk about how Samvatsara is calculated. Okay, so these 60 Samvatsaras, 1 to 60, because LCM is 60. Every 60 years, Jupiter and Saturn will again start. They will meet after 60 years in the same situation. They will come again, and then again every year they will have the distinct kind of situations for this interval of 60 years. Okay, so So these Samvatsaras are framed because of the rays, combination of the rays of these two planets, and because of their traveling the zodiac in 12 years and 30 years, so 12 and 30, because Jupiter covers the whole zodiac in 12 years, average 12 years, one year for one sign, 1 year for another sign, 1 year for another sign. So in 12 years, 12 signs are being crossed by Jupiter, and Saturn travels in one sign for 2.5 years. 2.5 years, Dahiya, they say that Dahiya, per Dahiya means 2.5, okay, Dahi Sal or 2.5 years. They are traveled by Jupiter, taken by Jupiter, by Saturn, sorry, in one sign. Second sign again 2.5 years, 2.5 years. In this way, 12 signs are crossed by Saturn in 30 years. 2 to 12, sorry, 12 to 24 plus 6 half. Okay, so that means 6 plus 24, 6, 30. 30 years are taken by Saturn to travel the whole zodiac, cover the 12 signs, fully traveled. So this is how the Saturn takes 30 years, right? Now come to the point. There are 60 Samvatsaras. So these 60 Samvatsaras, now how to calculate the year? Okay, and these Samvatsaras, as I have talked about, these are 60 Samvatsaras, though LCM is equal to 6 to the 10, 10 to the 10, 5 the 60. This is 60. LCM is 60. So after every 60 years, so let me take in the year of creation, of the, may say, living things or anything, living things, creation of living things, or the two planets, Jupiter and Saturn birth in the at 0 degree, but at 0 degree in the Aries sign, SIG. In the Aries sign, every year, or means creation, at the time of creation they were in the beginning. So after the 60 years they are again coming in the Aries sign, 0 degree, and then again repeat the same kind of activity per year, and after every 60 years they will come in the same situation. Suppose a person is born in a particular Samvatsara, the same kind of situation, same kind of degree in which a person is born in a particular Samvatsara, after 60 years you will find that in that sign in which Jupiter, or in those two signs, or maybe in the one sign, both were combined together, they were placed in one sign at the same degree, you will find that the two planets will come after 60 years of a person's birth. A person is born, suppose in this year, 2020, and in 2080, the same degree, at the same degree, in the same signs, Jupiter and Saturn will come. So this is what repetition. That means repetition. So this is how the 60 Samvatsaras are formed. So 60, because of this LCM, these two planets are meeting after every 60 years in the same situation, same degrees you will find. So this is how 60 Samvatsaras are there. Therefore, there are 60 Samvatsaras. There are 60 Samvatsaras. These names of Samvatsaras are there. There are 60 Samvatsaras. How to calculate? Second point. How to calculate? First we have to just find, as I have just talked about, let me take one illustration. Mr. Modi's year of birth. I can take mine also, but I am not so much known person. Let me just talk about. And any person whosoever is listening me, he can find out his own Samvatsara. Just first put your year of birth. What is your Christian year of birth? That means suppose this is 1950, Mr. Modi's year of birth and your year of birth, whatever, and then plus convert this into Bikram Samvat or Bikram year. What is Bikram? Maharaja Bikram or Bikramaditya? Bikram year is considered as 57 years more than Christian era. Okay, so before Lord Christ, one Bikram Samvat was started 57 years before Christ was born. Okay, Lord Christ was born. This is how a Christian era started. Before that 57 years are added. Then this is giving us Bikram Samvat or Bikram year. Plus we have to add here 10 more, or some say that add 9 divided by 60, then whatever remainder comes, then add 1 again. So I am just adding 10 years. 9 plus 1, 10. So 1950 year of the birth, 57 to convert this into Bikram year or Bikram Samvat, and then plus 10 divided by the whole divided by 60. Okay, this whole divided by 60. So what is the obtained? Let me just calculate this. Which Samvatsara will come, the remainder will tell us. Okay, so let me just divide. So whatever, about this Samvatsara, this is 1950 plus 57 plus 10, 67. It is 57 plus 10, 67. We have to add 10 in the Bikram Samvat divided by 60. This will give us the remainder, whatever remainder comes, that will give us the name of the Samvatsara. This is 6, okay, 7, 5 plus 6, 11, 1 carry, 9 plus 1, 10, 0, 1 carry, 20, 70 divided by 60. So what comes out to be remainder? Quotient plus remainder divided by divider. Okay, let me take divider. Here divider is 60. So what comes out to be quotient plus remainder? Let me just calculate what is quotient here. If I multiply this by 33, let me multiply. It is 60 into 33. 33 times we are multiplying. 33 times 0. 3 are 18, 8, 1 carry. 3 are 18, 1, 19, 19, 80. And this is 2017. Okay. Subtract this 1980. So minus 1980. If I subtract, and what is the remainder? This is after division by 60, 33 times. Which is coming out as 33 times. Remainder will be what? 7, okay, is 7 here. And 11 minus 8 is 3, 37 divided by 60. So 33 is the quotient. How many times the division is by 60, giving us 1980. This is 33 times. 33 is the quotient. Quotient is not being counted. We just take what is the remainder. Remainder is 37. Okay, because plus 37. So if I subtract from 2017, 1980, remainder, the difference is 37. So 37 is the remainder. This remainder will give us the name of the Samvatsara in which a person is born. So you see here that if I take 1950, because Mr. Modi is born or was born, okay, in 1950, so his 37th Samvatsara comes. Okay, 37th Samvatsara, which is known as Shobhakrata or Shobhan Samvatsara. Shobhakrata Samvatsara, I think I have defined in lecture series prediction 2, I think. In prediction number 2, when I talked about Mr. Modi's, becoming Prime Minister, okay, in 2019 and 2024. That I have already described. So you will just find there that how I calculated the Samvatsara there. 37th Samvatsara has come. Let me take now 1909, which is the year of birth of Sri Hardev Sharma Trivedi, who casted the horoscope of India's Independence Day, 1957, 15th August 1947. Okay, so that Shobhan, his Samvatsara is what. Then I will read what are these Samvatsaras named. So his year of birth was 1909. 1909. Okay, 1909. Now he is no more. He is now he has expired or has died. Okay, so but his now children are running that Panchang or something they are doing. But he was very good scholar, being celebrated. His children I do not know, but not so good report about his children. But his daughter is also running some magazine or something. Okay, but he was very good scholar. Because of that, he is celebrated and he got all kinds of awards from the king. Okay, and his 1909 Dundvi Samvatsara comes. I'm just going to talk about 1909. Anybody's Samvatsara can be calculated, and that Samvatsara I will define. I'll take some examples here. Not all the 60 Samvatsara I'm not going to define. It may take a number of lecture series. Okay, so that I'm not going to do it because I'm lack of time, please. Because if you want to just study this, then contact me. I mean, just send me some message. Okay, comment something or give me the response that what do you want. If you are just going to read about all these things or going to study about all these things, I'm going to give me your own year of birth. I'll just calculate that and I'll give you that what is the description of that, and then find yourself that whether those characters, those tendencies, those inclinations are there in your life or not. You will just be surprised that what are the characteristics which are clearly given in these Samvatsaras, description of these Samvatsaras, and you will find them in yourself if your year of birth is 100% correct or true. Okay, so year, this is major period, one Samvatsara, one full year. Okay, that 1 year, if you are knowing, if you want to just know about your characteristics, then in which year you are born, just understand and calculate your Samvatsara, name of Samvatsara. Give me the name of Samvatsara, your year. I can just judge that and I will give you the description of your life, your tendencies, your inclinations of your life. This is 100% true, there is no doubt about it. I have found that 100% true. Now come to the point. So 1909, okay, and the year think was 17th July or something, but year I'm talking about 1909. This is major period, that's why I've taken this. But major period is very much, and you will be surprised at how they have framed all these Samvatsaras. This kind of characteristics are found, these things are found only in Vedic Astrology. No other world leaders or any scientist or anybody has defined like this. I'm just challenging them that this kind of things are not described elsewhere in the world. Rational astrology is 0-0 before this Vedic Astrology. And these characteristics are, these Samvatsaras are only defined in Vedic Astrology. Nobody else is talking about them. Okay, so just because of that, people are being influenced. Westerners are the people who are foreigners from Western countries, England, UK, USA, everywhere. Now, USSR people are so much influenced. You will be surprised at how they are influenced because of these reasons. These characteristics are found only in Vedic Astrology. Nobody else, nowhere else are found. Nowhere else are found these things. Okay, because of that, these things are being celebrated. Okay, these days people are just anti-Indian culture. Those left liberals people, left-handing journalists, and those fools. I can just tell them fools because they are going to anti-India or whatever. Find the good things are given in our scriptures and all these things. They are not studied. I'm just telling them unknown people. They are illiterate people because they are not studied these things. They find the mistakes in those people because we have studied the science, chemistry, physics. I have taught. Mathematics I always teach. Still I'm teaching mathematics and all kinds of subjects I'm teaching. But I have not found this kind of characteristics elsewhere in the world because I have studied all those books from all kinds of literature. Okay? Western literature I have studied, but I have not found these kind of things there. Okay, so you will be just first let me take the example here. What I'm going to describe. Okay, that description is 1909. Let me just take that 1909 year. Put here 1909 plus 57 plus 10 also, then divided by 60. This is the name of a Samvatsara. How to find name of a Samvatsara? And this year of birth is 1909. 1909 is Christian year. And to convert this into Bikram era, 57 years are added. So 57 plus 1909 and then plus 10 for the 9 plus 1 is also added up. So this is just 100% because this I'm not going to decide that why this 10 is added, why this is given, because that is giving us the name of this Varamir has described all these things. So Varamir Sanhita, if you go to study, then you can find these